Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by my channel. VCers out there, whoever, Beatle fans, as you can see by my title. This is a strange video. I was doing research for a video that I thought I was going to do tonight or tomorrow regarding the famous Wrecking Crew, the band of 20 to 25, 15 to 20 musicians that played on virtually every hit single, numerous hit albums from the 60s, such as The Association, Pet Sounds, Sonny and Cher. Glenn Campbell was part of the Wrecking Crew. You know the story. Now, I was doing research on the Wrecking Crew. I was going to talk about them, talk about some of the songs that they made number one. Bridge Over Troubled Water, I believe. Just tons and tons of our music that people of my generation grew up with. So I'm researching it, and I don't know how I got into this, but I basically went into my tablet, or my my little tablet that I do some research on quickly, and I also use my phone. But I asked this question, and I'm going to ask it now onto my tablet. Okay, I have my tablet. I'm going to ask it now. I'm going to show you what comes up. Did the Wrecking Crew play for the Beatles? Okay. There is the segment there. And I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it because I was totally shocked. I'm saying, wait a minute. I've got this record, this special box set. I've got the vinyl box set. I've got numerous pressings of this record. This record, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, a stereo Apple, a remix with the outtakes from a few years back. Incredible, right? I've got an original mono here, and I'll show you the actual mono, MAS on the number. So, I've been with this record since probably junior high school. It came out in '67. I was only 10. Didn't get it till later on, obviously. Here's an original inner. And here is the mono. VG. It's beat up, as you can see, but it's still a nice mono. It has some noise. Astonishingly, these mono scratched records that are VG sound pretty good. So anyway, so I'm researching it, and did the Wrecking Crew play for the Beatles? And this is what I got, and I was shocked. Now, this is an AI overview, so I'm going to speak about the dangers of AI, because obviously what I'm going to read here is going to shock a lot of people, and it shocked me. And then I went further, and I found out how this even got to be an AI overview. Okay? Yes, the Beatles recorded with members of the Wrecking Crew in early 1967. The Beatles and producer George Martin secretly flew to Los Angeles, America, to record an album with the studio musicians, the Wrecking Crew. The Wrecking Crew were a group of session musicians in Los Angeles in the 1960s who played on many hits for other artists, including the Beach Boys, Frank Sinatra, and the Monkees. They were known for their versatility, sight-reading skills, and hard work. Record labels often kept the Wrecking Crew contributions a secret, so that it seemed like famous bands played their own instruments, and we all thought The Association, Sonny and Cher, etc. Well, Sonny and Cher had their band, but they used the session people known as the Wrecking Crew. Some Wrecking Crew members, this is another, wow. And you can read it all if you go into your internet, Google, and just call in, did the Wrecking Crew play for the Beatles? last paragraph, and then there's more, obviously, but some Wrecking Crew members are also featured in the background on the cover of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, including Hal Blaine, Carol, and Glenn Campbell. Now, as I was getting into before, I have this, I have these, I have probably 5 or 6 books on Sgt. Pepper. I have the actual sessions, complete Beatles sessions of Abbey Road. I have different engineers who work with them, like Jeffrey Emmerich, etc., etc. Stuff by George Martin, Beatle books, Lennon books, Paul McCartney books, Harrison, Ringo, as I showed. Never in my 60-something years of, or 50-something years of listening to the Beatles, did I ever once have an inkling that, other than maybe Clapton and Billy Preston, did any other outside musician, and Alan White early on, ever play for a, commercial Beatle record that sold millions. Never crossed my mind, never appeared anywhere. So then I go further. Okay. Then it has a little caveat here. A little known facts about the Beatles. We're rolling here. We're rolling. A little known fact about the Beatles from Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band has been recently revealed. And this is from 23, this article. It is known that the group, especially Paul, said that the Beach Boys' Pet Sound album was an inspiration for the Pepper album. We all know that. Probably was an inspiration for Rubber Soul or Revolver, maybe Rubber Soul. But anyway, well, so much that they wanted to record it with the same musicians, that the same studios that they used for Pet Sounds, which means California, Brian Wilson. So instead of recording it at EMI Studios, now Abbey Road, in London, Brian Epstein, producer George Martin, and the group made a very secret trip to Los Angeles in late 1966 to make arrangements for the recording. It was to be a secret that all of you musicians and engineers and staff had to sign non-disclosure agreements to not let anyone know about the Pepper project. Also, all of the sheets from the sessions were destroyed, as far as we know, as far as the authors of this article. Recording at Western Studios started in November of 1966. Over the next 4 months, the Beatles and Martin made many trips to LA from London to oversee the project. The amount of sessions and the cost is still unknown. Among the recording at Western, they also recorded at Gold Star Studios, which was another studio that used the Wrecking Crew session people, and Columbia Studios in Hollywood. All of the album's instrumental tracks were recorded here, except for Within You, Without You. The vocals were then recorded at London at EMI Studios. The fact that they did not record at Capitol in Hollywood upset the label so much that they threatened not to release Sgt. Pepper in the U.S., but that was later negotiated, and we know it did. It did release it. So through research, here are some of the personnel on the album: Hal Bain drums, Carol Kaye, Joe Osborne, Lyle Ritz bass, Don Randy, Leon Russell, Larry Mitchell keyboards, Tommy Tedesco, the great guitar player who could play anything, James Burton from Elvis's traveling band, and Ricky Nelson, Glenn Campbell guitars, Emil Richards, Julius Retcher percussion, Gail Levant harp, the Sid Sharp strings, A Day in the Life, the strings, right? Jim Horn, Plas Johnson, and Steve Douglas Winwood. It is also rumored that Brian Wilson was present at most of the sessions and may have contributed in some way. Okay, so this was an article that was posted in April 1st, 2023. April 1st. Okay, so at the bottom of this article, if you got to that part, well, it could have been true, but it isn't. April Fool, April Fools from the Wrecking Crew. So this is a Facebook post from April 1st, 2023. An obvious April Fool's gag. But somehow, through the genius of artificial intelligence, it got to glean all the information where Wrecking Crew and Beatles and Sgt. Pepper's and Pet Sounds were discussed in articles, that it gleaned that, yes, the Wrecking Crew did play on the Beatles and did all the instrumental backing tracks for Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. So, my point is this. Don't effing believe AI unless you research where the AI received that material. I was going to talk about in another video, and I will do that, but just a caveat. If you're buying records on eBay, a lot of record sellers that are novice, or even record sellers that are too busy to take the time, use AI to describe their record, and you'll get crazy stuff. If you want to get, not as described sent back to you, do not use AI to describe your albums or your records or your 45s. I just had an interesting one. It was a Peter Green record. Peter Green from early Fleetwood Mac, Black Magic Woman, Pen, Black Magic Woman. So the seller was talking about Peter Green album, VG Plus, original inner, nice cover. Then he presses AI. And AI actually said that the vinyl of this record for sale, I forget the name, is of green vinyl. Now, we all know it's not green vinyl. It was a record that was a typical British record at that time. It was probably a UK pressing. It was not green vinyl. But because green was in the title and green was mentioned by the seller, the AI picked it up as a beautiful copy of green vinyl that must be in anyone's serious record collection for years to enjoy, and etc., etc. So beware, AI is still in its infant stages. This obviously is a big, mistake and misleading. My point was that this is crazy, because it really got to me. A 12-year-old kid, 14-year-old kid loves the Beatles, doing some research for a school essay, a school project on what's your favorite Beatle record. Give me some background on who was on the Beatle record, and he goes into on the internet, on Google or whatever, DuckDuck or whatever, and an AI overview comes on and says, "Oh yeah, by the way, the Beatles secretly flew back and forth for 4 months and used these dudes called the Wrecking Crew, these fabulous, versatile, talented geniuses of mimicking any style, and they did all the music on the Beatles." Because George Martin said, yeah, that would be cool. And Paul liked Pet Sounds that did have the Wrecking Crew on it. So that's my little spiel. Hope you liked it. Hope you got to see my mono, my new copy, the new release from the last couple of years. And that's it. So please, if you haven't subbed, please sub. I really appreciate it. It really helps us out. Please like. And let me know what you think about AI. Let me know if you use AI on eBay or if you read about AI on eBay, because that's a whole nother discussion, and I'll probably do a little video on some examples, because the examples are rampant. I just found one the other day. I said to a friend, I go, look at this. It's actually saying that the record is new in the AI, and the description has photos of the record opened, photographs of the record open, and it was a VG at best. So AI is dangerous. It has its place, but it doesn't have its place right now in this little thing we have called the VC community. So that's it. So keep rocking. Thanks a lot. Tony calling. Tony's signing out. Ciao.